everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, I'm proud to present an up-close and personal in-depth look with the Bentley Continental GT3R. A huge thanks and shout out to O'Gara Coach La Jolla for providing this opportunity today. For more information about the dealership, including contact info and current inventory, please feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. And a special mention to my friend Spencer Burke for facilitating filming at the dealership. He's also got a pretty cool vlog channel on YouTube, and it's really active on social media, especially Instagram, @thatphotographer. So be sure to check him out. All the links can be found in the description box below. Thanks again. In this review, we'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. All GT3Rs were finished in glacier white and were offered with a very unique livery package with two-tone green striping, but we'll talk about all the unique differences, including the body additions, later in the video. Amongst the black leather and Alcantara, you'll also find a ton of green leather accents that pay homage to Bentley's motorsports division, not to mention tons of carbon fiber. Like any Continental, the GT3R can be powered up two different ways. The first is by the ignition switch to the left-hand side of the dash, and the second is by a small button in the center console. Now let's go ahead and demonstrate both ways. First, the traditional key. Just put it in, flick it to the right. It's a little bit of a simpler process with the push button. You just have to have the key fob within the interior, then simply put your foot on the brake and hold down the button to go. The GT3R uses a ZF-sourced speed-sensitive servotronic rack and pinion steering system. It's basically the same as what you would find in a V8S, including the overall ratio of 16:1. With firmer spring rates and updated shock tuning, the GT3R will mitigate body roll more effectively and is said to lead to more communicative and responsive steering, which takes 2.6 turns to lock. The turning circle is 37.1 feet. It's all routed through a beautifully detailed 4-spoke steering wheel that's wrapped in a combination of leather and Alcantara. Aluminum highlights the upper spokes and multifunction controls, while a green center band at 12 o'clock and accent stitching perfectly complements the GT3R's unique interior theme. Large grip bolsters can be found at 10 and 2. On the right side of the spoke is a knurled rotary dial that controls the driver's information system in the middle of the instrument cluster. With it, you're able to go between fuel data and vehicle status, not to mention audio, navigation, and the hands-free telephone system. Sending power to all four wheels via a permanent all-wheel drive system is a ZF-sourced 8-speed automatic transmission, revised for duty in the GT3R with a shorter 3.5-to-1 final drive compared to 2.85-to-1 in the V8S. Along with quicker and more assertive gear changes, the GT3R is able to accelerate off the line with more authority, especially when in sport mode, which holds the lower gears longer for greater acceleration response when driving spiritedly. Bentley claims the GT3R sport mode is more distant compared to other Continentals, leading to a far more noticeable difference between it and normal drive. You're also able to shift it manually by the console selector itself or by a redesigned set of paddle shifters mounted at the steering column. The GT3R is also the first road-going Bentley to feature a brake-based torque vectoring system, which works to reduce understeer by braking the inside rear wheel and sending an additional torque to the outside wheel to rotate the car through sharp corners. The shift knob is finished in leather, Alcantara, and chrome detailing. A backup camera is standard. In the center console, you have an electronic parking brake, your power exterior mirrors that are also heated, starter button, hazard switch, controls for the heated seats for the driver and passenger, adaptive dampers, and the controls for the air ride suspension. We'll talk about this more later in the video, but the air ride setup automatically adjusts as you're going down the road to basically keep the car at level at all times. But if you need to clear objects like steep driveways and speed bumps, you can put it into its high setting, which raises it up quite a bit to clear just about any object. So now let's go ahead and flip on the automatic headlamps, rear fog lamp, and the hazards. Of course, all 4 windows are fully automatic. Now let's go ahead and check out the exterior, shall we? Following a successful victory during the second round of the Blancpain Endurance Series back in 2014, Bentley created a highly unique and limited run variant of the Continental GT based on their GT3 race car, known simply as the GT3R. Inspired by the car that marked the brand's first UK racing victory in 84 years, it represents the quickest, most driver-focused Bentley road car developed up to that point. With a total production run of 300 cars worldwide, 99 of those being reserved for the United States, the GT3R features a tuned-up version of Bentley's twin-turbo V8, amongst other new performance goodies and a host of recalibrated systems, including but not limited to the steering, transmission, and suspension. The Continental GT has always been a heavy car, but Bentley was able to shave around 200 pounds of weight, thanks to a liberal use of carbon fiber, deletion of the rear seat, and more, but we'll discuss all the interior changes in just a bit. In regards to styling, I've always loved the silhouette of the Continental. Its beautiful curves and nearly seamless bodywork, including the superformed aluminum front fenders, boasts wonderful attention to detail and a level of classic elegance that's unmistakably Bentley. The GT3R is a departure from other range-topping Continentals with a more performance-focused stance and plenty of race-inspired touches to match. All 300 cars were finished in glacier white paint and were offered with two-tone green graphics that trace the 2 power lines across the side profiles of the car. All of the chrome trim you'd expect to see on the standard cars have been replaced by glossy black components, including the headlamp bezels, matrix grille, window surrounds, and bumper strips. Aside from a set of lightweight forged wheels, there's also a new aero kit. Along with the unique front and rear fascias, the GT3R gains a prominent front splitter, a large rear diffuser, a prominent fixed rear wing, and extended side sills, all of which are finished in exposed carbon fiber. It's certainly the most aggressive-looking Continental I've ever seen. The bonnet incorporates 2 carbon fiber vents that emulate the style seen on the GT3 Racer. These work to improve engine cooling, especially after repeated hard acceleration. Finishing things off are carbon fiber mirrors and darkened headlamps and tail lamps. The original MSRP was $339,725, including a $2,725 destination charge, which is about $135,000 or so more than a base Continental V8S. The GT3R represents more than just a motorsports tribute, but a true collector's piece that could lay the groundwork for even more performance-focused Bentley models in the future. The GT3R features a unique set of lightweight forged aluminum 21 by 9.5 inch wheels that are finished in gloss black. They're wrapped in 275/35 high-performance Pirelli P0 tires. Together with all of the GT3R specific bits, this leads to a car that handles surprisingly well considering its mass and the ability to hold a little over 0.9 G of lateral acceleration. Of course, a big car with big power needs big brakes. The GT3R comes standard with a set of massive carbon ceramic brakes and green painted calipers that are able to bring the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour in as little as 107 feet. The 16.5 inch front discs are clamped down by huge 8 piston calipers, while the 14 inch rear discs are paired to single piston calipers. The independent suspension consists of 4 linked double wishbones up front and a trapezoidal multi-link design out back. Along with front and rear anti-roll bars, there's the self-leveling air suspension I mentioned earlier and adaptive dampers that monitors for changing road conditions and adapts the ride accordingly. You can also manually select between 4 different damper settings for more comfort to sport-oriented behavior based on your personal preferences. The setup is based around the Continental V8S but retuned for duty in the GT3R. Unlike the rear-wheel drive GT3 Racer, this car carries a permanent all-wheel drive system that continuously sends torque between the front and rear wheels as needed. The system is primarily rear biased with a default torque split of 40 and 60% between the front and rear respectively. In certain instances, up to 65% of the torque can be sent to the front or up to 85% can be sent to the rear based on what the car deems necessary with regards to traction requirements. a 3-mode stability program unique to the GT3R, including normal, dynamic, and off modes, adjusts the slip angle accordingly to give the driver more control and freedom of the car's behavior, especially when taken on a road course. Overall length is 189.2 inches with a body width of 76.5 inches and a height of 55.3 inches. It rides on a 108.1 inch wheelbase and has a curb weight around 4,839 pounds. 57.5% of that weight rides over the front. The Continental GT3R is powered by a twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8. The block and heads are made from aluminum, while the valve train consists of dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and dual variable valve timing. Fuel is delivered via direct injection, the compression ratio is rated at 9.3 to 1, and redline begins around 6,200 RPM. Rather than having the turbos reside to either side of the engine, they're nestled within the cylinder banks for reduced lag and greater throttle response. The GT3R develops an incredible 572 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 518 pound-feet of torque between 1,700 and 5,000 RPM. That's 51 horsepower and 16 pound-feet of torque more than what you'll find in a V8S. Bentley even states that with the engine's temporary overboost feature, the GT3R can develop up to 592 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque for up to 15 seconds. This allows the car to accelerate to 60 miles an hour in as little as 3.6 seconds, 100 miles per hour in 8.1 seconds, and fly through the quarter mile in just under 12 seconds. Top speed is limited to 170 miles an hour due to the transmission's revised gearing. Lastly, the GT3R gains a unique, lightweight titanium exhaust system that delivers an incredible note, far more pronounced than any other current Bentley V8. That alone saves about 15.4 pounds of weight. Along with its insane performance, the engine also features cylinder deactivation and an alternator-based energy regeneration system for greater efficiency. Cylinder deactivation shuts down 4 cylinders under light loads to reduce fuel consumption, while the regeneration reduces electrical load during cruising. As far as fuel economy, the GT3R is rated between 13 miles to a gallon in the city and 23 miles to a gallon on the highway, and a combined average of around 17 miles to a gallon. Premium unleaded fuel is required and is held within a 24-gallon tank. The GT3R's motorsports vibe carries on through the interior with one of the most performance-themed cabins you'll find in any modern Bentley. Despite some weight-saving measures here and there, the focus wasn't necessarily to strip down the car, but to highlight the GT3R's heightened level of dynamics and driver involvement compared to the rest of the Continental lineup. Therefore, all of the luxury and creature comforts you'd expect to find in a Bentley are all present and accounted for. As I mentioned earlier, all of these cars came exactly how you see it here, a combination of black and green leather upholstery, black Alcantara, and green accent stitching. It's absolutely stunning in person. As with any Bentley, the build quality, attention to detail, and general feel of the environment is some of the best in the business. Many of the touch points that are easily within reach are wrapped in some of the softest leather imaginable. The use of diamond quilted upholstery here and there, along with a generous amount of carbon fiber, emphasizes the GT3R's sporting nature. The execution is very similar to what Bentley did with the Continental Supersports back in 2010, if not slightly less edgy in a way, as the GT3R doesn't have the manually adjusting carbon fiber seats or the rear carbon fiber tube that served as a luggage brace. The GT3R's molded carbon fiber door panels, though, remind me of what you would see in a Lamborghini Superleggera model. The bespoke sports seats offer full power adjustment, including 4-way, lumbar, and 3-person memory for the driver and passenger, with newly designed foam layers for added comfort. On top of that, they offer additional lateral support to keep you gripped and tighter around corners. Some of the car's weight savings came from deleting the rear seat, leaving an open flat shelf that could be used as an additional storage space if needed. The carbon fiber, green leather, and Alcantara also continue to the rear of the cabin. Speaking of storage, there's door pockets, a generous center console, and pretty good amount of space within the glove box. The latter is lockable and lined in soft-touch material. As far as airbags, there's both front and side airbags for the driver and passenger, along with the driver's knee airbag. Aluminum switchgear and chrome accents provide another nice touch of detail, while the headliner is finished in a combination of leather and Alcantara.
So let's go and see how she sounds.
In order to make the seatbelt a little bit easier to grab when you hop in, once you shut the door, a little powered mechanism will automatically pop out and bring it right next to your shoulder. Generally speaking, Bentleys are highly bespoke vehicles that allow you to personalize every last little detail, from the upholstery to the colors, the interior finishers, down to the stitching and so much more. Even features like ventilated seats that have massage, a high-end audio system, adaptive cruise control. The options are practically limitless on these cars. It's absolutely fantastic and definitely worth checking out Bentley's online configurator to see the whole vast array of features. It's really hard to find fault with cars like this and this price point. I guess the biggest downsides to the Continental in general is perhaps curb weight and some outdated technology like with the infotainment system. The cars come standard with an 8-speaker, 440-watt audio system with an 8-inch, 30GB infotainment system and a 6-disc in-dash CD changer. Of course, you have navigation, hands-free Bluetooth telephone, all of your iPod and media integrations, and satellite radio. Even though the Bentega's new infotainment system is a big step up over this one, everything is still very easy to use, I think. It's all pretty intuitive, there's good ergonomics, you have all of the classic Bentley touches such as the organ stop air vents, a beautiful analog clock in the dash, and easy access to all of the vital switchgear. Up top, the leatherette visors have illuminated vanity mirrors, while the overhead console is also finished in carbon fiber and integrates 3-position garage home link.
Now let's go ahead and shut her down. Hop out and check out trunk space.
Continentals are offered with the full-powered trunk lid out back, but I'm not 100% sure if that option was extended to the GT3R or not. This one at least didn't have it. You have a modest 12.6 cubic feet of space back there, which is not huge considering the size of the car, and you'll definitely want to take advantage of the extra interior space. There are cargo tie-downs back there, some added green detailing to match the interior, and plenty of super soft carpeting. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the Bentley Continental GT3R. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone. Surfaces. It also lowers ride height by 10 millimeters or about 0.4.